Hello and welcome into RTA Race Day. I'm your host Kyle Cushman, and we have finally reached playoff season. Before we get into the fallout from the Brickyard 400, let's get you all caught up on the NASCAR regular season finale at the illustrious Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick led the way to the green flag, but the focus throughout this race was deeper in the field with Ryan Newman, Daniel Suarez, and Jimmie Johnson all fighting for the final playoff spot. And it was a bad start for Suarez as he would make contact with the wall just 12 laps into the race, forcing an unscheduled pit stop, putting him all the way back to 29th. Later in the first stage, multiple drivers made hard contact with the wall. First, Landon Castle had a right front go down, which sent him straight into the safer barrier out of turn 1. Then, at the end of the stage, Brad Keselowski and Eric Jones got tangled after a restart, sending Keselowski hard into the tire wall, almost flipping his car upside down. That wreck would knock out last week's race winner in Jones and the defending winner in Indianapolis in Keselowski. Heavy impacts for all drivers involved, but thankfully, all three would walk away uninjured. Jumping to the final stage now, and Jimmie Johnson's playoff hopes would come to an end on lap 105, as Johnson would lose control and spin with teammate William Byron on his outside, collecting Kurt Busch in the process. The wreck would end one of the most impressive streaks in NASCAR history, forcing Johnson to miss the postseason for the first time in his 15-year career. A hard impact there for Johnson as well, thankfully uninjured. We jump now to 9 laps to go, where following a late restart, Kevin Harvick would side draft Joey Logano down the backstretch and make the pass stick on the outside through turn 3. Harvick would drive away from the field, creating a 6-second gap to second place, as he would collect his 3rd win of the season and 2nd career victory at Indianapolis. But what about that final playoff spot? Ryan Newman was able to hold off Daniel Suarez to finish 8th and make his way back into the playoffs after missing in 2018. As for Suarez, he misses for the 3rd consecutive season to start his young career. Newman's playoff berth didn't come without a scare from Bubba Wallace, however. It was a season-best 3rd place finish at the Brickyard for Bubba, his first top 5 of the season and best finish since the 2018 Daytona 500. It's been a long season at RPM, to say the least. Here's what a fired-up Bubba Wallace had to say following the race.
I don't know. It's not supposed to happen. According to Twitter, we're supposed to run 25th to 30th all week and crash cars. It's pretty banged up. But the King come down and give me a big bear hug. I haven't had one of those hugs since the 500 last year. So, you know, it's a special day and special weekend when he's excited. He's not sitting on the plane already waiting on us. What a hell of a day for all of us, going from the lowest of lows almost to the highest of highs. I knew we didn't have anything for the 4 or the 22, really the 12, but just with this package, you're able to kind of manipulate the air. And I gave Blaney a lane. He's still pissed off, so I'll buy him a beer. It's all right.
It's great to see that 43 car back at the front of the field as we bring in our race analyst, Lucas Wacker. Lucas, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
Usually after Indianapolis, we're discussing the race winner and the people who just made the playoffs. But this year we're talking about Jimmie Johnson and his race streak coming to an end.
Absolutely. I mean, this has got to be a disappointment for the 7-time champion. It's been 2.5 seasons of struggling for Johnson throughout the regular season, as everyone knows. As a team, they haven't been able to put together the finishes they ultimately deserve. They just had terrible luck. It wasn't only this one race that cost Johnson, however. They've had 25 other weeks throughout the regular season to put themselves in a better position going into the playoffs, but they haven't been able to.
Obviously, it's been a very disappointing season for Hendrick, having that 48 car miss the playoffs. There's been a lot of discussion online about Johnson's future at NASCAR. He is signed through the end of next year, but are we approaching the end for Jimmie Johnson in NASCAR?
I know a lot of people on social media say he's washed up and should retire, but I do like the speed they've shown since Cliff Daniels came on as crew chief earlier this season. I sense a lot of positivity and determination from Jimmie in his post-race media comments and on social media. I believe that he thinks that they have something to build off of for next year and going into the final 10 races in this season as well.
Lucas, thank you for joining us on this regular season finale edition of RTA Race Day.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
The playoffs begin next Sunday in Las Vegas, and RTA Race Day will be your first stop for analysis the whole way from the green flag in Vegas through to the checkered flag in Miami. That's all the time we have today, though. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on RTA Race Day.